Oh, gee. Hello, everybody. Better turnout this week. Thank you. So today we are going to talk about behavioral-based safety. So basically, behavior-based safety, or BBS, is a process that helps you guys identify and choose safe behaviors over unsafe behaviors. This spans over all levels of our company, from workers to management. We all work together on this, so these three things interact. Persons includes knowledge, skills, intelligence, motives, personality, attitudes, values. That's on the person. And their environment, so anything from equipment to tools to machines, housekeeping materials, safety rules, procedures, and then behavior, so complying, coaching, recognizing, and communicating. All of those interact together for these programs. It focuses on the ABC model. So we have A is activator. This is what triggers a behavior. They're only as powerful as the consequences that support them, though. So these are basically your attitude. So if you have a weak consequence, and keep in mind that consequences can be negative or positive. So if you have a weak consequence, you're also going to have a weak activator or a weak attitude. And vice versa. If you have a strong activator, you're going to have a strong attitude as well. Behavior, those are the acts or actions that can be observed. The key word there is things that can be observed. Your attitudes can't be observed. These are things that you actually do that people can see and that we observe. Those have consequences, which is the C. Consequences are what happen to the performer as a result of an act. So again, these can be positive or negative, and they can either reinforce or deter a behavior. So positive reinforcement enforces a safe behavior, and negative reinforcement deters unsafe behavior. So BBS programs and training attempt to reduce work-related injuries by creating a culture of safe behavior through observation, feedback, and positive interventions. So principles of behavior-based safety. Feedback is essential to improvement. So we observe and we give feedback. If you think about how our audits work, we're observing what you do and we're giving feedback on what you're doing. Consequences motivate behavior. So what happens as the result of your action should motivate your actions or what you do. So the reward at the end of what you do should be motivating what you're doing. Participation creates ownership. So if you participate in the safe culture, you take ownership of your own actions and strive toward that overall culture, that overall safety culture. Continuous improvement happens when we all work together. So again, this should span from our shop to our drivers to management across the whole entire board. And you want to be proactive rather than reactive. So take steps to avoid incidents before they happen rather than reacting and fixing what went wrong in the first place. Characteristics of consequences. 4 characteristics. They all start with S. They should be soon, sure, significant, and sincere. So again, consequence is usually deemed as a negative word, but consequences are not always negative. You can either choose to have positive consequences or negative consequences. So in terms of behavior-based safety, we should be striving towards more positive consequences rather than negative consequences. So these should be soon, should be immediately, or as soon as possible after a behavior is performed. So there should be no question. You shouldn't be like, well, thanks for the reward, but when did I do this? It should be, I know exactly why I did this. Moving into sure, you should know, 1, that you are going to be recognized when you do this performance, and 2, why you're being recognized. It shouldn't be oh, I must have just got lucky when I did that. It should be that you know that you made a conscious effort to achieve that reward. They should be significant. This means that it's more than entitlement. You're not entitled to these rewards, these positive consequences, or this recognition. It's something that you made an effort for to go above and beyond. I'll have Gilby touch on this in just a minute. But I'll go over the last point here as well, is that They should also be sincere, so it should be a genuine reward for you. The recognition is meant to exemplify the performer. So back to the significant part, we're going to talk a little bit about the culture of this and the culture of our safety incentives a little bit, and how this plays into behavioral-based safety.
Well, we're talking about positive consequences. Welsh has always been a person to reward, people that are going above and beyond, that help out and do the unexpected. A lot of you guys in here do go above and beyond, and that's kind of how one of our safety incentive bonus started. And I know we just did this restructuring, and I've had a lot of guys ask, why didn't we get rid of that during this, the pay cuts and everything else? It's usually one of the first things that goes at most companies. But Alan still wants something here for you guys to have, something when you go above and beyond, you guys can gain the benefits of that with the safety incentive bonus. We've been kind of lax with some of this stuff. We are changing the criteria up a little bit, right, Kim?
Yep.
We don't know exactly what that's going to be. It's not going to be that significant, but it is going to change a little bit. But over the last couple of months, we've started, making you ineligible if you've had an incident or if there's a significant cost associated with poor performance or whatnot that makes you ineligible. And I've heard a couple guys kind of coming back up and I already lost my safety bonus. I'm not going to adhere to the rest of the stuff, like coming to these safety meetings. The incentive bonus isn't something you guys should expect. And from some of the culture I've seen with some of the drivers, it feels like it's a given to them. It's supposed to be there for going above and beyond, not just for showing up and doing your job. So we want you guys to understand that. It should be something that we go above and beyond. You stop and help another driver chain up or get out of a predicament. Hauling all your loads and going out on the days that it's ugly out there. That's we already expect you guys to do that. But you go above and beyond and do your day. If you can get that third load on those ugly days, you've definitely gone above and beyond, and Alan will recognize you on that. But the reward should be seen as more than entitlement. Something our incentive is turned into is a lot of people feel that they're entitled to it. It should be one of those things that is considered a significant achievement. You're not entitled to these positive consequences and recognition. It's something that you made an effort to go above and beyond, like Sierra said. And we want this still to be available for you guys to do that. That doesn't mean just because you lose it, it means that we don't have to perform the rest of the time. Anything else to touch on that, Jason?
Not really. It's something that's earned. It's not given. Yeah. And
that is the common culture. It's an entitlement.
So we have never taken anybody's safety bonus from them. It's something you have to earn. And it is nice that you have the ability to earn that every pay period. And I know some people lose that ability for more than just one pay period, but we still want it there for you guys that are going above and beyond.
Well, and a lot of guys too, just so you know, you're not forgotten about. You are recognized in different ways. Like us as supervisors, I'm going to use Aaron as an example here because he always does his job every day. You hardly ever get a phone call, and everything is done. His loads are completed every day, and any issues with the truck he takes care of one way or the other. And it's one of those things that's going above and beyond. It's keeping everything in motion. And I think everybody can do it.
Hey, Gary, I see you put a comment on here. With all that we've been going through, the company should cut us some slack. I think over the last few months we have cut a lot of slack. If you're paying attention to these safety meetings, last week we started changing the culture. We need to change ways we're doing things. We need to go above and beyond. We need to be the most professional people out here. We're not trying to pick on anybody. We're just trying to make sure we stay in business.
I'd like to make a comment too. Cutting slack is can be a reason that we go into the situation we're in right now, honestly. The more slack you cut, the more corners you take, the worse the company is. So I don't feel that's a valid argument.
Also with that and the talking about the new requirements, just so everybody knows, it's not going to be something that you guys aren't going to be aware of. We're working on getting that out, and we'll have that documentation out to everybody. We've been working on it as a management team, and it will be put out in either email or out on ADP as a file out there for you, so you'll know what everything is.
Well, one of the things I want to comment on, since I'm the guy who ends up getting called because I send out speed alerts to people, is always remember that not only did we end up with a DOT inspection because of a lot of the safety problems we've been having, but, and on top of that, our customers look at those scores. And so, is there business we've lost because somebody looked at our score and decided not to award us contracts to haul their stuff? When we go for that safety bonus, remember what you're also going for is showing the customer that you're going to be the ones that they want to have hauling their stuff, that they want to have on their location. Because right now, we're fighting with a lot of other companies who have a lot less oil to haul. And so we've got to do everything we can to make sure these people see that we're the best, and that's why we should be hauling for them.
Okay. Let me click back on here. So, core beliefs in a safety-minded culture. So this is what our culture in our company should kind of look like. So, all injuries are preventable. So you should be actively pursuing avoiding injuries. There's always something you can do to avoid it. You can put blame anywhere you want, weather, environment, mechanical things that happen. There's always something you could have done personally to avoid that. You are responsible for your own safety. On top of that, yes, management is ultimately responsible for the overall safety of the company, but you personally are responsible for your own safety. Working safely is a condition of employment. So if you are not a safe worker, you are a liability. It's that simple. Education and training is essential. So without that education and training, it's hard to know what's expected and how to create a safe culture. So that's why we do our safety training and all that good stuff. Safety should never be compromised. So safety, production, cost, quality, all four of those things are all interdependent on each other. So if one is lacking, the others are going to suffer. So if production is down, that's when most decide to cut corners. We gotta get working, gotta get moving. So in turn, that obviously decreases safety and also decreases our quality. If safety is being neglected, our quality and production ultimately decrease as well. And in turn, costs are going to increase for us. So all of these affect each other. Stop work. Where did we go? Oh, and still on that compromising, sorry. So it should never be compromised for production or for convenience. So cutting corners should not justify getting one more load in for the day, and just because it might seem easier to do doesn't mean you should avoid the safe way to do things. So stop work. You have an obligation to shut down any unsafe operation. An obligation means that it is your duty. It doesn't mean that you have the option to do it if you so choose to. It means it is your duty to stop work if you think something is unsafe. Continuing health, wellness, and safety of each employee is vital to the company's long-term success. So yes, cutting that corner may up production short-term, so maybe for a month or so, cutting those corners may up our production. But ultimately, it's going to bite you in the long run. Again, becomes a norm, you get complacent, the company goes down. So worker roles and responsibilities of behavior-based safety. You want to develop a positive safety attitude, participate in BBS training, so behavior-based safety training, participate in safety meetings that support BBS processes, keep an eye on fellow coworkers, so that's that observation. Again, you have a duty to report, stop work, things like that. and take a direct role in making sure everyone is working safely. So again, you're responsible for your own safety, and you're the people out in the fields. And that does it for BBS. So operations, what's wrong with this picture?
Where do you want to start?
That's some big chains.
Chain looks rusty. It's been used in a while.
Good.
Other than neither spider is on correctly. Good lord. I suck at the
So yeah, this is obviously incorrect. Take the extra time, straighten it all out, put your chains on right.
Wow.
Again, I'm going to touch on online attendance. If you attend online, you need to fill out the form in the link in the description, or you will not get credit. This is the last week we are doing comment credit.
The link is in there right now.
Yeah, the link is there right now. We've got that figured out, so it'll be there right away. You can fill it out. I am no longer putting the safety focus words on the things. You have to actually watch the video and figure out where I'm saying them, so you don't just skip to the highlighted portion and read the safety focus word. But it is use your noggin. That's the safety focus word for those of you online. So this is the last week we're going to do online credit, comment credit. Otherwise, all the credit is going to come from the form that you fill out. Proper reporting. Who do you report incidents to?
Dispatch.
Dispatch. Is there anyone else you can report incidents to?
Supervisor.
Technically, no. Dispatch is where the reporting process starts. They have the form they fill out online that starts the reporting process. It has to go to dispatch. Telling anyone other than that does not constitute reporting. Telling someone in the shop that something happened, that's not reporting, because half the time the shop or anyone else you're going to say, they have other things they're doing, that's not their primary duty, that's not one of their duties they're meant to do. It's going to get buried under all their other work. Policy, procedure is to tell dispatch. Inspections. If you're inspected and get an inspection report, we have to have the original. Any items that are found out of compliance need to be repaired. The shop signs off on the original, and then we have to send it back to the state, so we have to get that original in hand. Esau, is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Alright, Esau Road. It is now geofenced. This includes all wells and lease roads off Esau. Speed limit is 20 miles an hour. This is per landowner and Devon request, so regardless of what the speed limit says, it is geofenced at 20 miles an hour. So this includes all the 40 miles an hour,
all the way in.
30 miles an hour.
I sent an email out, or actually Philip sent the email out. It's got the maps of the 3 areas. There's 3 different speed limits for those. So if you check your email, there should be something from Philip that shows the maps where they're geofenced.
Yeah, I can't tell what street.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out.
All I got out of it has been geofenced and told, the 40, the 30, the 20. It's all marked out there as speed limit, but so we need some explanation on this. Is the whole thing from the highway?
Says starts at the cattle guard for the petty calving pasture.
As soon as we turn on, I am not worried about the calving pasture because it's all marked out there. My question is, from when you turn off of the pavement, is that where it starts at 20? Because that's a 40 mile an hour until you get to a cattle guard. Then it goes to 20, and then it goes to 30. So
Yeah.
is it still by the speed limit signs, or is the whole thing 20 miles an hour?
I think it's by the speed limit signs. When we're done, David's got some maps on his desk. We'll look at it.
Yeah, because it goes from faster to slow to speeds up again. Yeah. In certain places.
How long has this been going on for? Because I just went down Esau Road today, and I haven't gotten a speed alert, and I was following the speed limit signs.
The speed
It
limit
says 25.
go off like the
35.
next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think this was done on Thursday.
Okay.
It's got to be understood about the geofencing is that really where those come into play a lot of times is customers get mad at us about the way the trucks are driving on those roads.
That's
No,
not
I know. Because I know some of these geofences, I've heard a lot, makes it inconvenient.
Geofence, but that's not my point at all. My question is, I need to know what part of it is geofence.
So we'll look at the maps when we're done with this, but from my understanding, the calving pasture down on the bottom is the only part that's 20. We'll go look at the maps.
So you're talking about
It says
down
on the
by
email that the speed limit's
Yeah.
correct.
The cattle guard
C,
with the
down
pads.
by pad 2 and 3 down
Right.
there.
Down in the bottom of where the.
You just want to know if the speed limit says this, that you can go that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, because I'm almost positive that's the way geofencing's set up.
With the exception of the calving pasture, it's the only place they don't have signs. But that where it goes to 20, it's at the bottom of the hill, just past the cattle guard, where the pads for, I'm trying to remember the names of them now, off my head.
Yeah.
1502. It says it's the calving pasture.
Well, there used to be a sign there anyway, because the rancher used to put it up on fence. It was his sign.
Yeah, it used to be marked anyway.
Okay.
I want to say something else on this proper reporting. The reason why we got this in here is because we had a pretty significant fuel spill out in the yard on Friday night. I don't know if some of you guys might have seen it and drove through it on Saturday morning. The driver actually reported it, but he reported it to the wrong person. That other person said, "Oh, not that big of a deal." Nobody even went and looked out at it. Brent spent some time cleaning it up on Saturday night.
No,
Jason-
that would have been Richard.
Was it you?
Or Jason, somebody. What? I was
Well,
off.
Jason finished.
Jason handled it.
Yeah, Jason handled it. I was off.
So,
Thank you for credit, but I was
But
off.
even if you have a spill in our yard, please let us know. I mean, we didn't. I mean, reprimand. You know, the driver. I mean, the fuel spills are going to happen. That's one reason why I didn't want the fuel tank out there. But those nozzles do not turn off when they fill full, especially if they're in there upside down, which I've watched some guys do so they don't fall out. But he put about 20 gallons on the ground because he was walking around doing his post trip. Was over at his car talking to his passenger in his car, putting stuff in it. By the time he came back, it was kind of a mess. And, you know, nobody even called me after it was reported. And it was reported right away. Nobody called me, so I could at least go put some cones out there so we didn't track it across the yard. So Jason had to spend some extra time just because the improper reporting.
Correct me if I'm wrong, even though this is our property, we can still have an OSHA recordable on our own, right?
Yes.
Yes. So. Okay, in Texas, Joe Lowry ran his first marathon. Let's clap! So.
How long was it?
Longer than I can run.
5Ks?
That boy needs to eat.
26 miles.
26 miles. I can't even run a half, so.
Somebody give that man a sandwich. He looks like he's.
That's how he can run a marathon, yeah.
We're also implementing this, so you all should be aware now that you can submit suggestions. So I'm putting in this little thing to talk about any suggestions that come through in the weeks. Someone was hoping that we could have like an annual day that y'all get off, that we can all hang out and.
Hey, Sierra.
What?
How can I submit a suggestion?
There is on the ADP, on the right, big highlighted suggestion form.
I can access
You
that
have
from going to
to-
ADP.
ADP, you have to go to the workforcenow.adp.com. You cannot go to your app on your phone. You have to do it through the actual website.
On a desktop.
Or on your phone. You can do it on your phone.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
You just have
But
to
not
do
the mobile version.
it, you just have to
Has
do
to be
it
the
at the
desktop version.
website, not the app.
Okay. So, we do one of those every year. I mean, last year was our first year doing it, but it's Prairie Days, so we will have that again this year, for those of you that don't know. And then Kim is going to touch on days off and PTO.
So I know one of the suggestions on there was talking about people having sick leave because they were talking about our attendance policy. You guys do have sick leave. It's in the form of your PTO. PTO does not stand for vacation. That stands for paid time off. So as a new employee, when you're very first hired on, you start accumulating 14 8-hour days. I don't have the math in front of me, so whatever that would be. Hours of PTO at 4.307 hours per pay period that you can start using after 90 days of service. So that's where your sick leave comes in. You can use it for sick, you can use it for vacation. If you are gone, you are required to use that PTO if you have it available. You cannot take and call in sick 5-6 times, not use your PTO, and then take 3 weeks off, towards the end of the year because you've stockpiled it. If you are absent, you are required to use that PTO time. All of that PTO has to be submitted through ADP. You can do that either through the app, you can do it through the website. If you have problems doing it, I know it's been a thing that we've been doing for quite a while now, since we've had the PTO in ADP. But if you ever have a problem, let me know. If you call in sick, you guys should be going in there and requesting the PTO time so you can get paid for it. It makes it easier on me because I have to go through and I put it in. The term, you're using your PTO, you do get paid out for it. It doesn't just get lost, it doesn't go away. You do get paid out for it on that check if you do call in sick. It does up for after 1 year of service, it goes up to 21 8-hour days. And then after 4 years of service, it goes up to 28 days. So again, that's off of an 8-hour day. If you're using 12 hours a day, you're not going to have as much. So
what's the minimum? 8?
There you go. Typically it's 8, 10, or 12. I know you guys are drivers. I know now with some people having 14-hour trucks, you might want to put 14 in for it. You can do 8. The only time really that we would use less than that would be for our hourly employees. If anybody is hourly out there watching, that maybe you have to work half day because you have something going on, you can submit for like a 4-hour day. But if you're paying for a day off, typically your minimum's 8-hour days you have available. If you don't have it available, you only have 6 hours, you only have whatever, you can put in for what you do have available.
Can we use it for like days when it snows real bad and they shut the roads down?
If you're not working, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can use it for any of your normal scheduled days. You cannot use it for, hey, I just want to get paid extra this week. You cannot use it to get paid more than you normally would in a week.
So if the roads get shut down, are we required to use it?
That
Monday we couldn't come to work?
That one, no, because that would be how to put it in for everybody. That one's like voluntary. If you want to do it because you couldn't work that day, you can put in for that PTO time. But it's if you're calling in sick, like if almost everybody else works and you're the one that calls in sick, that'd be you calling in sick, and then yes, you'd be required to use your PTO.
I understand that. I just want to make sure it wasn't going to be something we got no control over.
Nope. Any other questions on PTO or the attendance policy? No? Okay.
Birthdays?
Birthdays? There's cake.
There's cake.
Cake.
Enough said.
Happy birthday to the February babies.
Do you have a list of all theirs? All
They're all
there.
up
They're on the cake.
Who's
I
the
know.
SOB?
Sip.
The SOB.
Well, nobody else has anything. Please remember to look in the comments. Click on that link. I already forgot what Sarah said the safety focus word was, so I hope that you guys remember.
Use your noggin.
Use your noggin. That's what it was. So we'll see you guys next week.
Hey, Joe, hang on. I do have one thing that needs to be addressed. When guys want to leave little nasty grams for the pumpers, don't do it. If you got an issue, call us as supervisors or management. Don't leave a nasty note for a pumper, because that never goes well.
Awesome.
That'll take
So we got that going now.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
take away our
So-
work.
Cool.
Exactly.
With that shit in the damn location, we ought to have jobs forever.
Yep.
So what Jason just said is back to what I was saying about professionalism. If you have some issues with pumpers or how their location looks or how they might have treated you, please reach out to one of the supervisors and do not leave nasty grams in the boxes out there.
Yep.
It does not look good for us.
Yep. And remember the chaining. One set of singles does not amount to chaining.
Yeah. One set of singles does not amount to chaining.
Yep.
Hey, Gilby, sorry. Other things you didn't ask if anybody else had anything. So, weekly notes that we send out to you guys every week. Who reads them? Who reads all the notes? So, you guys need to be reading all the notes that are in there. We put one on this week that there's something that you are required to do. If you have not done it, that means you did not read your notes. So, get in there, read your notes. If you don't have your email set up, you need to get with Robert so that he can help you get your email set up. So please get in there, read those, and know what you're supposed to do. That's all I got.
All right. See you guys next week.
But by the way, Kim, the number's still less than